So far, nothing. It's a pretty hard hit, and I have to hit it harder than that. Okay, gentlemen, ladies, preferably not gentlemen that pronoun is ladies. You guys are so weird, just seriously. Alright, so we went to Meijer. Hopefully we got 11 sheets here. I'm going to try to count them out, but let's get on this Millwall brick thing. I've done Millwall bricks before, but I've never done this wet version. But this is how I started off with my homemade comma video. We got these little half sheets, so that'll count as one sheet. We're just going to line these up. So basically my idea is to get about 11 of these, roll them up, unroll them, then I'm going to put my washers in along the side, dip them, roll it back up, let it dry, dollar duct tape. So let's get to it. Here's number 1. At roll number 7, I ended up with these little half a sheets. So let me show you guys that real quick. It's kind of annoying, actually. What I'm going to do so I don't run into it is take this full sheet, set it to the side, and we're going to put these here. One in the middle, another one in the middle. And these two can just go on the sides. Take it like a sandwich, throw it on top. So because of inflation and newspaper, we're at 7 sheets, but that's going to be fine. What I did was I took all these little halfy ones, and I just got my bottom sheet to cover that. Now I'm going to roll it up and unroll it, then we'll do the coins. Right here is what we're going to use for our coin substitute. So I'm going to roll this up, I'm going to bend it over in half, and then I'm going to unroll it, put the coins in the middle, and then I'm going to wet it. It's raining right now. I don't know if you guys can really tell. Got the ram out there. But yeah, can you hear that? Plenty of moisture. And I got buckets I can fill. Doing this from a cabin, so this is about as remote as it gets. Cabin in the woods, whatever paper you got for the wood burning stove. So I'm at 7 sheets and I'm not happy about it. And I got a bunch of scraps, but that's about how these things are done. Also got some dollar store duct tape. Man, I told you guys how much I love this stuff. This is really great, especially if you needed to restrain somebody. Not like it isn't as easy to get out doing the, you explode your elbows behind your back and you can escape out of it. But it's really hard to get out of this stuff, and this stuff lasts forever. If you need to make repairs, use dollar duct tape. It's harder to rip. All the expensive stuff is just easier to rip. So, I don't know. This should be 27 bucks, not the other way around. Let's roll it up. Going to start like that, just kind of pinching, pushing, pinching, pushing. It's more like a fold, not a roll. Okay, so I'm going to get this all the way down, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Do you guys really need to see this as part of the tutorial? I don't think so. Use your imagination. Okay, now we got to fold it in half. Beautiful monstrosity, right? The hooligan club, used at soccer games. We unroll it. Can kind of remember where I folded it. That's where I'm going to line my coins up. Or washers, same difference. Just gonna... This is about where that fold was. I mean, think about it. You're rolling it up this way, and then you fold it towards yourself. So I'm just going to make a line of washers. Maybe stack some up on top. I want it to be able to fold still, so don't want these guys getting in the way of that. We'll see what happens. Maybe they shouldn't be so congested, I don't know. It's my first time doing it with coins. I've always just done this with duct tape and paper. And this will be my first time wetting it too, so get to find out if that works. Carl, I'm sure you're never going to see this video, homeboy, but thank you for telling me all your amazing stories of self-defense in prison. Really sad you had to go there. Alright. Here we go. So now we're just going to do this part all over again. I don't think you guys need to see me use two hands, so I'm taking my other hand back because it's using the phone to record, so yeah. According to common sense, midway between rolling this up, I decided to just bunch these up in the middle, so yeah. Definitely has a different feel to it having this little bit of metal in it. So now what I'm going to do is find some improvised cordage, whatever I can find, and I'm going to wrap it up, then I'm going to dip it in a bucket of water. Got some kite string. It was already sitting out in the weather, so what I like to do with this is, hold on a second. Yay, bright light. Throw that in a chair, grab the end, and then I'm just going to wrap this up. That in a chair for a second, so I got another free hand. I'm going to do a snare loop at the end of this, so I can snare over this and then wrap it really tight. This is exactly what you want right here. Okay, so that's going to get tight when I pull it. It's a snare. In the end, when I'm tying this off, I'm ending up with like a bunny ear on one side, and then the end of the string on the other side. I'm just going to tie these together like you tie your shoes. Flipping this upside down, I got that $9.99 thing, look like 666. Let's go baptize this newspaper. Wait for the bubbles to stop. That's how you know the devil's dead. No. There we go. I'm going to wring it out a little bit. Now, obviously, on the Romans 13 channel, we do not condone rioting. But I can't say that I do not condone violence, because if I'm going to be honest, if your life's in danger, I believe you should use everything in your ability to defend yourself and your family and your loved ones. Alright, so there we go. Got this big wet rag. Got the cotton twine on there. Now we're going to set it to the side, let it dry, and then we'll tape it up. Now if we get the old wood burning stove going, got these little pinch pins up here. So this should dry out in no time. Not too worried about any of the cotton twists coming untied. Just like some really nice cotton thin twine. So if there's anything coming undone, it don't matter. All that matters is that this holds together and dries out. Now, I would take a guess and assume that if someone was doing this and the point was to harden it up, they weren't just using water, guys. They had to have been using Elmer's glue and water, and that's an old trick just to make like toilet paper knives. Oh, God, I wish I could give you the name of the channel that does that. He does a Damascus toilet paper knife. So, anyway, yeah. If I can remember, I'll put a link in the description. It's not the most ingenious thing you've ever seen, but we got a fire pit and an umbrella so we can cook in the rain. Now this guy is off to the side of the fire pit, so hopefully it can dry out, but at the same time, if it heats up too much, if it gives way, it falls on the ground instead of in the fire. So I hope that makes sense. Thanks, guys. So I actually spent all night hoping that this would dry out so I'd be able to at least use it in the nighttime. The philosophy being it would dry out so it would be ready for immediate use. I wasn't really going to use it, but you know what I'm saying. That's the philosophy behind it. It's dried out now. It's cold. It's more compact. It has a different feel to it, but it wasn't worth it. You're better off just doing the original ℜ𝔬 brick. Just folding the newspaper over on itself. You can add the coins or the rocks or whatever the hell you want, and then wrap it up with duct tape. I mean, this has a different feel to it. It doesn't feel like wood like people say. it just feels like a cold, dried out, compressed newspaper. It's dry. It feels not harder, but more compressed. That's the only way that I can describe it. But if I wrap it up with duct tape, it'll have the same amount of compression. It doesn't feel more flexible. I'm just not into it. So, guys can like, subscribe, share, build one. It's definitely holding up, but I'm going to wrap it up with duct tape and call it a day. So there it is. It's all wrapped up in duct tape. This is familiar to me. This is what I remember. So I really think that when you're making these and you're putting all the time and the effort into these, like yesterday I was going through scraps of newspaper and whatever I could find to make this happen. So it was pretty insanely difficult to pull this off, especially being in a cabin where you use newspaper for wood burning and stuff. Felt like a waste. But dunking it and making the club, it just, I don't know, guys. The material, the time, the effort, waiting for it to dry, it's not worth it. You can make this thing in less than 10 minutes. You can make this thing in less than 5 and have it up and ready to go if you're fast. This took a day. And then a little bit of the morning, I don't know, maybe 5-6 minutes, wrap it up in duct tape. But yeah, I'm not crazy about it. To each their own. So if you guys are into wetting these, go ahead and wet them. I don't really feel like it changes the composition any more than anybody else would think. I don't know if people wanted to see like a destructive test or anything, but it was holding together really good. It just feels like a compressed, cold cardboard, like wet paper that you're gonna burn or something. So I don't know. That'll work for a vise. At least I hope so. About what you would expect. So that's limestone, but still takes a good hard hit to break something off like that. Can't just break it off with your fingers. So it was another big chunk. Still only surfaced impact, so it's only damaging the duct tape. Do another one. Yeah. Just the duct tape. I have coconuts, but what I do have, because we're at hunting camp, is deer skulls. Now they're not prettiest. They're in rough shape. This one had its antlers torn off. This one is a large doe. Looks like a zombie head. It's pretty nasty. But I'm going to test it out and see if we can get through skull. So, I don't know. This is kind of gross. I'm not a fan of doing stuff like this. It feels kind of savage and disgusting. But we're going to see if the Millwall brick can get through bone. And I guess take out a Wendigo. That would be a Native American that turned themselves into like a deer critter thing. Skinwalker. Or maybe I got those two switched up. Alright. So far, nothing. It's a pretty hard hit, and I have to hit it harder than that. Got a large crack in the skull. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I cracked the orbit, it looks like. Cracked the top of the head pretty hard. No damage to the club. You can see that, all that damage right there. Let's give it one more. Right between the eyes, I guess. Yeah, there goes the nose. It shattered. The skull caved in. See that? Alright, that's after 4 hits. We are completely through bone. smashed apart. Now you can argue that this is rotted, but this is bone. This is an animal skull, so completely destroyed. Alright, the buck. Wow. That one obviously fell apart because the antlers were already removed, but yeah, I think this will definitely penetrate the skull. Gotta hit it in just the right spot. Alright, that one's not going anymore, but you guys got to see the bone test, I guess, so it'll definitely smash bones and skull. Carnage, I know, right? So, yeah, if you give it just that right amount of flexibility where it swings and wants to carry forward with the flexibility of the handle like a slapjack, it just pulverized that bone. Then it'll go all the way through. So, zombie club, 100% self-defense weapon, scary self-defense weapon. Having the washers in here, I think, makes a huge difference.